Or locked into Pitch Radio, music, sport, and subculture under one roof.
Well, hello, folks, on this glorious day for English football to some degree. We're doing it a little bit different today, folks. We're doing it through Zoom, and I'm not quite sure how that's going to come out. We're going to find out any minute now. Yeah, sounds really good to me. So, yes, we are running through Zoom today. So, anyone watching it as a podcast, which they will be at some point, we're live on Pitch Radio at the same time. I'm happy with this. Sounds good to me. I think we should crack on. I think now, one thing, folks, we are going to only be able to go for 40 minutes. It's a test run. Zoom only let you run for 40 minutes. So the show will be 40 minutes with lots and lots to cram in. So without further ado, welcome, Martin.
Hiya, Gary. How are you, mate?
Good. Welcome, Matty.
Yeah. Just like to say that this the podcast will be going out on UK Casuals YouTube channel and also going out on SW6 Blues Pride of London.
Just at that. So anyway, you two guys are coming through very, very quiet on the radio. So I'm not quite sure why that is, but we'll have a listen and keep going anyway. So, wow, what do you think? First time we've won an opening game in God knows how long in the European, or have we ever won an
10
opening
years,
game
I
in the
think
European
it was, Gal.
Sorry?
10 years, I think it was, mate.
Yeah, I think longer than that. I don't think we've done well, like, to win an opening game.
No, it's a shock, wasn't it? A bit of a shock, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been so long.
So
yeah,
how do you think the England display went then? I mean, from my opinion, there's a lot of, this is a young England team. It's a new breed. So I think they've put the ghost of Italian 90 and all the other penalty shootouts to bed. I don't think that they're worried by the past. I think they've got a certain fearlessness. I think they've got a little bit of arrogance, a little bit of swagger. And I think this England squad will do well.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
I'm just
you're right, Matt.
The levels at the minute, so you have to ignore me.
Yeah, no, I hope you're right, Matt. You know, I do hope you're right in that assumption that I watched it and I was a bit confused about the choice of lineup. You know, there was some untried players in there, really. You know, like Mings, and so it surprised me. Yeah, I was quite impressed with what went on, but you got players, Champions League winners in there, so you can have a little bit of. But I thought the Man City players were little bit off the pace. I know Sterling scored, but I thought that was a little bit off the pace. Phil Foden didn't. I mean, I don't know because he's dyed his hair blonde, but he didn't look as effective as he normally does. And I don't know if there's any difference. Sterling does. He's normally running around like endless chicken sometimes, but he scored. And what's his name? The fullback. Oh, my brain's gone. Too much sun. What's his name? The Man City fullback. You know the one I mean. Anyway, he was
himself.
Yeah, he made a few mislaid passes and didn't seemed a bit off the pace. Walker, Walker seemed a bit off the pace today, and so did Foden, and so did Sterling. I know he took his goal well, but he just didn't seem to be there. But like the likes of Mings, I was surprised they dropped Chilwell because he's been playing well. Obviously, Champions League winner. But Grealish, I'm surprised he didn't get. I too was impressed with the kid from Leeds in midfield.
I was going to talk about that, Martin. Kelvin Phillips.
Good player.
Absolutely fantastic display. And this is what I mean about fearlessness. When you're young, like Kelvin Phillips, he's not played at international level before.
No.
But he got on that field and he didn't let it bother him. And he played his game and he put in an absolute proper shift. Shift.
Yeah. 100%, and he's up against the likes of Modric, who I think he's been about the years, Modric, at Tottenham and Real Madrid. And to me, he's still a world-class player. What is he, in his early 30s now? Great player. And Phillips up against...
The England midfield kept him quiet.
Yeah, they did, yeah. Now and again, you had little glimpses of his passing ability and his dribbling ability. But Rice and Phillips kept him quiet. And Mason Mount, you know, he's just quality, isn't he? You know what I mean? You give him the ball and he can do little things.
Unlucky not to score.
Yeah. But I think, like, Kane was a little bit off the pace today.
Yeah, I was going to talk about this, Martin and Gary. I thought that Harry Kane, he looked maybe not unfit, but like you said, Martin, off the pace. Maybe not match fit.
No, or whether it's because he's got this 150 million price tag on his head. Whether that's affected him, I don't know. Or what happened at the game last night. So with Christian, you know what I mean? Whether it's
price tag 150 million, isn't it?
Yeah, whether that's player, but he didn't look like an 150 million pound player today, did he? When he's used himself,
not at all.
No, but as I say, it was a surprise lineup. He surprised everyone, I think, with his choice of lineup, and he got it right. Got his tactics right. Can't knock him for that.
No, I'm glad you just spoke about the tactics, Martin. Sorry, Southgate.
I'm in it. I'm back in it. I'm back in the game.
Southgate, the manager.
Who's going to bring a sub on?
Martin.
Yeah. Say that again, Matt.
Southgate, the gaffer. What's your thoughts?
I think you got the tactics spot on today. You know, it's a bit of a split whether you love him or hate him. But today, I think he got the tactics spot on. And he was up against a good side. They ain't no mugs, Croatia.
No, they're not.
They've got a few semi-finals and finals of different tournaments. So they're a good side, got good players. Yet we had the better of them today. They're an old team. They're getting old, though, Croatia. A lot of their players.
Yeah. Well,
so maybe their time's up.
You've got strong opinions on Southgate, haven't you?
Yeah, but that to discuss that at the moment would bring the elephant in the room to the discussion, which maybe.
Well, let's do that then. This is what
bring the elephant in.
Well,
bring the elephant in.
Okay,
exactly. Get it through the door.
So, I guess at the moment, I find the hypocrisy of Southgate's a spokesman for that FA, yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm talking about the Kneegate saga. Yeah?
Kneegate. Yeah, let's talk. Let's talk about it.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, Southgate's come out and said, look, no, this isn't about BLM. This is all about, it's not political. It's not this, not that. It is a crock of shite what he's coming out with because they brought it into our game that we love. And I know we should be talking about the victory, but this is causing so much upset amongst England fans across the whole of the country. They brought that in to support BLM. They put Black Lives Matter on the shirts.
They
put banners all around the ground.
Gary. Yeah.
How on earth can they now turn around and say that is not what it is? Because it is what it is, and they started off with it the way it is. You know, you can't change your mind halfway through and say, oh, no, it isn't that, it's this. Because, no, you started it as something. And I just found him saying what he has said a bit belittling to people as if we're thick. We're not thick. We've seen what you brought it in as. I'm all for kick it out. I support kick it out.
Yeah.
There are so many other ways that they could gesture towards diversity. The knee taking was brought in specifically for BLM.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you, Gary. They can't change
and
it.
That's taken the edge.
Through.
That's taken the edge. I love England, but this has taken the edge off of it for me.
But Gary, don't that just show that he's a bit of a puppet for the FA?
Yeah, definitely.
He's towing the party line. He's just towing the party line, isn't he?
100%. You're 100% right. He's towing the party line. I just don't understand how they can come out and think we're that stupid to say what they say. I'm all for diversity. I'm all for gestures of solidarity in that cause. I truly am. But this is not what it was about. And, Rio Ferdinand, was it Rio anyway, one of them, saying we need to be educated. about it. We don't need to be educated. We all are against the racism card. We don't want racism in our sport, but at the same time, that was a political thing. And what's it going to do? John Barnes came out this week, 100% hit nail on the head, and said it's a society problem. What football will not be able to fix it. You will not fix it through football.
Yes.
Well, I have to say, Gary and Martin, Croatia didn't take the knee.
No,
good.
Now, if that had been the England team, there would have been all sorts of uproar.
Because the thing what gets me, what Gary's just said about if Rio Ferdinand did say that, it's the same Rio Ferdinand who got involved with his brother Anton Ferdinand playing for QPR against Chelsea. When John Terry supposedly said something to his brother, a racist comment, right? Now, Ashley Cole backed John Terry and said John Terry never said that. Rio Ferdinand then called, and I'll state, he called Ashley Cole a chock ice. Now, we all know what a chock ice is, and we all know what terms he used it as. He called Ashley Cole a chock ice. So if that ain't a racist comment from one black man to another, I don't know what is. So he should be very careful about us educating ourselves when I should really be educating him, the fool. Because I just think they just make... And why, if it's not a political thing for Black Lives Matter, why is Marcus Rashford and Lukaku last night in the Belgian team and other black players in the Belgian team doing a black power salute? If it's all about racial equality, why do we need black power salutes involved in it?
We don't.
Is a black power salute any less racist than a white power salute?
Which is a Nazi salute, or white power, or red hand of Ulster salute.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have it. So why are we allowing these clowns to do a Black Panther, Black Power, whatever you want to call it? You know, the greatest black man, one of the greatest black men in history, never done a black power salute, Martin Luther King. He was against it. And that man stood for everything about equality. Yeah, he never done a black power salute.
What I would like to say to the people out there on social media that say you shouldn't oppose taking the knee, right?
Yeah.
England fans didn't boo when Sterling scored. Everybody is praising Calvin Phillips' performance.
Mixed race,
that just goes to show we're not against anti-racism. We're not against kick it out. It's the taking the knee that represents BLM. You cannot change it halfway through, as Gary said. He's 100% right.
But you can't change it without telling anyone you're changing it. They never told anyone.
No, Martin, you've hit the nail on the head. No one's come out and said, hang on a minute, taking the knee doesn't represent BLM anymore. It represents this.
Right, and the other thing I'd like to say, if Wilfried Zaha played for England today and he didn't take the knee, what would have happened? What would have been said about Wilfried Zaha? Because he will not take the knee. He says it's pointless. Huh?
Uproar.
What would have happened? Huh?
Uproar, Martin.
It's interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Wilfried Zaha was again. He said it's a pointless exercise. I'll take me out of the Wilfried Zaha. There's like Brentford when they played in the playoffs against Swansea. They never took the knee because they said, and they've got black players, and they said because it's a pointless exercise, and it causes divide, not brings people together.
Exactly.
It creates divide.
John Barnes, like I say, go back to what he said this week. Now, John Barnes is he's one who's been very critical over opportunities for black managers and all that. So he's no shrinking violet. And he has come out and said, this isn't a football thing. This is not going to be sold by football. It's a social thing. If we look at racism, and this is where I just wish everyone would be sensible, and let's all talk like adults.
It's emotional, Gary, isn't it?
Let's not, the woke media won't let everyone talk like adults. That's one of the problems.
No, they're losing.
But the situation is simple. There is a very minimal amount of racism in this country within football grounds. It's so minimal, right? I mean, it does happen. We're not ignoring that, but it's very minimal. And I think Kick It Out has been very successful. Yeah. But there is a huge problem with social media. Half of these people probably don't even go to football. They sat home on their bloody computers And not just look Ericsson. Again, something maybe we should touch on a bit later on in the show. But Ericsson, some of the horrid things that were being said on social media about him. There is a problem in this world, and it's called social media. And whilst you've got these keyboard warriors and agitators, because let's not think for 1 minute that some of this racism that is being afflicted upon people is not by wind-up merchants, because that's what a lot of social media people that do this. But it's not just racism, it's so many other things. There needs to be a control over social media. That's a social problem.
Ricky Gervais actually said that if you're even a little bit right-wing on Twitter, you are Hitler. Yeah. Ricky Gervais has said that. Ricky Gervais said, if you're a little bit right-wing on Twitter, if you lean to the right, even a little bit, you are Hitler.
That's ridiculous.
They will say you're a Nazi, or, you know, like you said, the woke generation, you say anything against them, they will brand you straight off.
Of course they will. But it's not about people's colour, it's about agreeing with the woke and the left. If you don't agree with what they're bringing out,
ideology,
you're a Nazi. That's what they say. If you don't agree with their stupidness and not non-gender, we've had all this before, but non-gender, non-binary, what's a load of rubbish? Who's coming up with this crap and teaching kids this? Like that kid at Oxford University this week wants to take a portrait of the Queen down because it offends people.
He's been successful, Martin, apparently.
Huh?
He's been successful.
Yeah,
the picture of the Queen has been removed.
No, it's been taken down. As
a joke, the geezer's American.
That's what I'm saying.
It represents colonialism, they say.
Unbelievable. It's the head of the Commonwealth. She's the head of the Commonwealth.
Yeah, we're all lost for words.
So I just think, why are we listening to a Yank who might be the cleverest fella in the world, but he's brain dead? He ain't got no common sense.
100%, Martin.
You know, it just really, as I say, if you don't agree with these left-wing woke people, then as you say, Matt, we're branded a racist or a Nazi because we don't agree with their Marxist communist ways. And well, it ain't even to do with communism and Marxism. It's to do with stupidity. And some of the shit they're coming out with is unbelievable. It's ridiculous.
And it needs to be discussed.
Yes.
To be honest.
But us discussing it will be seen as racist.
And Gary said it's the elephant in the room, but we need to drag the elephant in the room by its neck.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Other channels, other podcasts won't.
No. You know why? What about us in our country? What haven't we got to say? And that reflects on the football. Because everyone's following, don't want to upset the wokes, don't want to upset the left. Why? Why are we listening and pandering to them?
They're all bullies, aren't they, Martin?
Well, but the thing is, we're all missing the point. This is about football. It doesn't colour of someone's skin. I couldn't care less if Chelsea had 11 black players. I'd still support Chelsea. But taking a knee, I'm against that.
Martin, when Sterling scored, everybody cheered.
Exactly.
Now, if there was racist within that crowd, they would not have cheered.
No.
So that just goes to prove it's against the gesture of taking the knee. It's not against someone's skin colour.
It comes back to what I said. Kick it out has been working now for years, and people have never slated it. They've all, and racism within a stadium. It will happen now and again. There are 1 million people over a weekend go and watch football. One idiot will go to a football match and say something stupid, right? The level of racism within a stadium is so low that you have to say there's been a great success in kick it out, right?
Completely. So people throwing bananas on the pitch. That's gone.
If you refer, they brought up this thing about the banana at Arsenal like the other year, didn't they? But that turned out to be a young kid who'd been eating his banana, and when Arsenal lost, he got the ump and through his skin.
Well, they made that was a racist gesture.
Don't take it the other way.
But,
Well, there you go.
know, you had the same situation at the new White Hart Lane, the most technologically proficient stadium in the world, as it is, right? And you had that claim of racism that never ever got upheld because it never bloody well happened.
Yeah.
Oh, and that particular player had been synonymous in Italy and other places for doing the same thing, and never ever. I'm not saying it don't happen because we know it does, but it's so minute. The problem has to be addressed on social media and in society in general.
Yeah,
it's not football. Why do this? You know, and again, my upset is that they're trying now to tell us, the FA, and this makes me wonder if this is part of an agenda. They've never wanted us in their football world anymore. When I say us, I mean the working class, typical football supporter that's been around. You go there, you have a beer, you have a sing-song. You don't sit in your chair and eat your popcorn. I don't understand why the FA are persisting with this when they could do so many other things to show a gesture towards diversity and acknowledge the fact that they were wrong about BLM at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, completely.
Acknowledge that. Acknowledge it like everyone else,
Well, acknowledge they've made mistakes. They've got to acknowledge they made a mistake and not telling everyone. Or the media, and if the media are to blame, Sky Sports,
they are.
They're all left wing. The BBC, they're the worst out of the lot. But they should tell.
Yeah,
tell us all. It's changing.
We spoke to Andy Scott on Martin's channel the other day. SW6 Blues, Pride of London. Little plug there for Martin. But Andy Scott said that, and I spoke to him about modern football. We don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
The football lads, the working class, to get the bums on the seats doesn't matter. We don't matter anymore.
No, it's a different audience. It's a different audience. Totally different audience going to football
and they
now.
don't. And in my opinion, when I talk about the FA is the Premier League. Football league's something else. I like to say, I don't understand why they're persisting with this. They see it's causing division. But they also see the sort of people that are not happy with it. And it is the people they don't want at the games anymore.
Yeah.
Are they persisting with this to put that wedge between us and our love of football?
Well, let me just say, you wait till the stadiums are full now. We've had it at the back end of the season with Millwall fans, other fans booing when they take the knee. And the media straight away jump out. This is racist. Millwall fans disgusted. You wait till every stadium in the country is half full, nearly full. There'll be uproars. They can't drown everybody out. As soon as someone starts booing, they turn it down. And then you get the reporters and the media.
Martin,
this is a racist crowd.
Martin, what you've just said then is that when COVID is over, well, it'll never be over in my opinion, but when there's more than a quarter full stadium, there's going to be it's going to be voiced a lot more, the disapproval of taking the knee.
Yeah. Well, England have got Scotland next Friday. Scotland have said they're not going to take the knee.
Oh, but I've heard that they have now said that they will against England.
Is that what they've said, Gal? Yeah? Right.
That's what I've now read. I've read, yes, they've said no, they're not. But they've now said they will against England. That's because of
who's pressurising them to do that then? The Scottish FA? Someone's told them, well, if you don't take the knee, well, you don't know what the repercussions are, people. Well, we do. No. If you don't take the knee and you play for your club, you're out. You ain't getting picked.
Cancel
culture. It's just madness.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's cancel culture you've got.
Of course it is.
Anybody that speaks up or it's not part of the woke culture, they get cancelled. We don't want to know you lose your job, all the rest of it, and it's wrong. And I haven't heard that, Gary, by the way. I thought the Scotland team wasn't going to take the knee.
Yeah, well, I've read it on 1-1. Yeah, I've definitely read on more than one site that Scotland have relented and said that they'll take the knee against England. Now, how true that is, again, social media, you never bloody well know.
But not other matches. Or against
all I
other
can
countries.
tell you is I've read it that they've said against England.
You've made a good point. You've made a good point there, Matt, because if they take the knee against England, but don't take the knee against their teams they play in their other games, that is pressure from someone then, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Because England are doing it, we're going to do it. So if they play, I don't know who they got in there, who they also got to play. But if they play another two teams and don't take the knee, then they're just Croatia. The Croatians ain't going to take the knee.
No,
Or anyone calling them racist?
No one. This is what I don't get. Croatia haven't been. Nothing's been spoke about it.
No.
But if England didn't take the knee, there would have been all sorts of articles and everything.
I think, look, this is where I think these ex-players who seem to know better than us, i.e. Rio Ferdinands, your Southgates, your FAs, they're all saying that we don't understand, that we need to be educated. Well, what they don't understand is we just don't want it in our game. And it is our game. It's our beloved game, you know, a game we come back to, well, it ain't a working class sport anymore, and that's at that level, and maybe that's well, we know that's probably very true now, but they just won't understand that we just don't want it. We don't want players wandering around with Palestinian flags.
No.
Right? That's
definitely.
another thing that is absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
It's not a platform for this shite. It's just we want to love our game of football. We don't want... Football should be an escape from the shit this world's in.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And again, I come back to... I would be very surprised if there is one, you know, if over the course of a year, I don't know, 50 million people have gone to football, right? I don't know what figure it would be.
Yeah. Oh, you've frozen there, Gal. Oh, you're back again. Right, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm having a problem with my internet, that's all.
Yeah, no, right, gentlemen. We haven't got long left. So we've brought the elephant into the room.
Yeah.
We've confronted it, and now we're going to boot him out and let him on his way. Right.
Can I just say
that's it? Yeah.
Can I just say one quick thing?
Back to the England display.
Yeah.
We've already talked about it a little bit, but what's your thoughts, Gary, on this squad? This very young squad.
You know what? I mean, you know. They did a job today, England. I mean, they came out the trap like rocking horse shit. I mean, wow, they hit the ground running, didn't they? You know, I think they got the result that they've never got in the past, and yet you've got still a world of talent on that bench. And I'm not a fan of this fella, but I think the shining light in that England side by the end of this tournament will be Grealish.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not a fan of his, don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, a bit arrogant and all that, but that guy is so talented, and I've been to Villa Park with Watford the other year, and he just, you know, he was dominant. Unfortunately, at the time, Villa was struggling because he was the only man they had. They then got Barkley and people like that. And then, boy, oh boy, look what Villa did this year. They were forced to be reckoned with.
I think,
but that Grealish fella, I think
with England, what we haven't had in the past, Gary, is we've got options. We've got a man like Grealish who's really talented, but he was on the bench today and didn't get to play.
So the only fear I got, and I'm going to relay back to previous shows where we discussed about Chelsea, oddly enough, against Leicester in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And then we discussed them in the European Cup against Man City. Both the time Chelsea was a favourite for the FA Cup, and my opinion was that who would want it more, and I think I was slightly right. And I think with the Chelsea game, I didn't give Chelsea a chance. With the Man City game, but who wanted that more? And I think Chelsea did. The fear I got is on Friday night, this is Scotland's World Cup final, not European World Cup final.
Yeah.
This is their World Cup final, and England need to be on their game, or they will slip up.
For the next match you're on about?
Yeah, against Scotland. So it's all great, but for Scotland, this is they're a united team. They're very tight. You can see that. This is their World Cup final.
Okay.
It's the biggest.
Martin. I'd like to bring you in very quickly. Your opinions on England's display today, and also your thoughts against Scotland.
I was quite impressed today. As I said, I wasn't impressed at the original lineup, and I was a bit shocked to who he didn't include and who he did include. It was a very brave decision on his behalf, and I was quite impressed with the performance all round. And it was very hot there, and they kept going at a real tempo as well.
Yeah.
So I was surprised at that. I think against Scotland, if we've got to, as Gary's just said, we've got to raise our game because the jocks are going to be at it. They're going to be up for it. They're going to go into every tackle. They're going to be really up for it. So we've got to match them for enthusiasm, energy, but we've got better players. A lot of the Scottish players come from Scotland's a sort of, not disrespect to their league, but it's not as good as the Premiership. But they managed to up their game against us and certain teams. So it'd be a good game. I fancy it to be a draw myself.
Okay. So I'm going to ask a question to both of you, and you can answer first, Gary, and then Martin. This England squad, they're very young. Now they have seemed to have a little bit of arrogance, a little bit of swagger. Do you think that they're young, so young that they kind of put to bed the ghost of Italian 90 and the penalty shootouts, or do you think the pressure's not they haven't been put in that position yet?
I think the last World Cup put paid to the penalty ghost because we won a couple of penalties.
I have to agree. Yeah,
I think that. We say they're very young, but 6 of the players who started today played against Croatia 5 years ago. Is it 5 years ago?
Correct.
4 years ago? 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 years ago. So a lot of that side have been for World Cup finals. So there is quite, as young as they are, there's actually quite a lot of experience there as well. And you've got the likes of Kane,
it's a good mix.
Who's got a bit more maturity with him. But 6 of them starting lineup today played in the World Cup finals 3 years ago. So I would say that, yes, it's a young side, but I wouldn't say they're lacking in that much experience.
What's your
and they're
thoughts,
at home
Martin?
as well, very different.
Well, sorry, Matt, what'd you say?
What's your thoughts, Martin?
I think we played well today. As I said, I was very sort of impressed with the tactics and the setup and way we kept at it and chugging away, trying to, create chances. Even when we went 1-0 up, normally we'd sit back and invite the other teams on, but we didn't. But I think this is going to be England in reverse in this tournament. Normally we start off a bit unsteady, get a 0-0 draw or a 1-1 draw, and then we suddenly build up. I think this is going to be the other way. We've had a good performance today, might have a sort of mediocre, normal one against Scotland, and then get worse.
Okay.
That's the way I'm looking at it.
So
sorry,
am I getting carried away with the victory today and saying that this England squad looked different?
Yeah, that's all I would say.
But I think the problem is we ain't done that I was born in 1966, 2 months before the World Cup, born in Wembley. So I'm a World Cup baby as such, yeah?
Right, okay.
So on the birth certificate, 1966 Wembley. I'm proud of that. However, we've not done nothing. All they've ever done is let us down and got to a couple of semi-finals.
Exactly.
And we celebrated that like we'd won the World Cup. I remember going to Luton,
doesn't it?
back from Italian 90.
Yeah.
I went to the reception at Luton, mate, and there was 1 million fucking people. Sorry, there was 1 million people there. It was mad. It was just mad. And that was because we got to a semi-final. I think, especially those of us that are a bit older, we don't expect anymore. We've done all that.
No,
We've been there. We've
no,
got that t-shirt.
no.
I don't want to wear it anymore. It's like,
No, exactly.
we win.
Yeah.
Too much up.
I was 10 years old in 66 when we won it. and I watched it on our black and white telly in South London. Me and my dad and my brother. The old girl went to bingo, and we watched it on a black and white telly. And then 6 months later, it went round all the cinemas, but it was in colour. So everyone went to all the local cinemas, the Granadas and the Odeons, to watch us win the World Cup in '66 in colour. We couldn't believe the grass was green. Don't know what other colour grass comes in, but it was mad. The picture houses were full. And that's what we flatter to deceive over the years. You're right, Gary. So I'm not getting too excited about it.
Okay. Well, we haven't got long left, gentlemen. So, no, go on, Gary. Go on.
Okay. No. I was just going to say, for those of us of an older generation, we've been through the grinder with England, and I think we've learned not to get overconfident.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to have to finish up now, gentlemen. So, what's next for you, Gary? On your what's next for you, Martin, on your YouTube channel?
We've got an interview with Gary Chivers going up this week. We've got Les Kent coming on, who's on the original Richard Allen Skinhead book. I'm going to do a segment with your good self about where the casual scene actually started, and I think we're going to be a bit controversial on that.
That'll be mad.
Yeah, and we're going to find out where it actually started, and I know where it started because I was there. But anyway, so we're going to upset a few of our northern friends with their bollocks they come out with about fashion and.